Okay guys, we're back at the boat. Yesterday we putting down the cables, and I had the book with the firing order, and we couldn't figure out why the engine wasn't starting. It kept backfiring and stuff. So we said, okay, I have to get a real mechanic, because this guy doesn't really know much about aligning the distributor. So I got a guy coming down. And I also, one thing that I checked now, because I have the other engine to check against, and what happened was also that this guy kept putting the rotor cap, the rotor, he put it wrong. Rotor has a little piece inside that goes against a little notch, and it locks in there, and he had it the opposite way. That's why that thing was rotating. We couldn't figure out. I said, is it busted? So I just opened it up and it looks fine. I put it back down in the right position. Now it's locked and it's not loose. I'll show you what I mean. The rotor has to be pointing with this notch here, right? A little notch. I don't know if you can see it. That notch, and this metal clip here has to go back of it. So if you have it this way, it was doing this, and we couldn't say, why is this thing loose? And it wasn't that. It was that you had to put it in the right position with the notch. It's not that, now it's not turning. So this guy that he's supposed to be a mechanic, he's not 100% a mechanic. He does repairs, and he does removal of, you know, taking apart engines, and he works on diesels. But when it comes to timing and that, and in the alignment of the rotor, and then the right position of the cables, and the confusing thing is with this engine that this is a left turning engine. It's a left rotating engine, and we couldn't follow the cable setup on that one because that's a right turning engine. So this guy that's coming down, he knows. All right, so what I'm going to do, I bought some new speakers. I'm going to be installing them while I'm waiting, and I got some extra gas I got to put in the tank. So, and then another thing, I noticed that the radio's not working, and the radio's burnt out. And I was ready to chew out West Marine. This is the second time I buy radios from them, stereo, and it's a Boss. I thought it would be better. So don't buy stereos from West Marine. They buy the lower class, the lower, you know, value, I guess, and then they price it up. And turns out I looked it up on Amazon. They have for $68, and I pay with tax and everything. I paid almost 200 bucks. So I got cheated. And I'm not buying from them any more electronics. That's it. I want to buy a better stereo from somebody else, because these speakers that I'm putting in, they're very good quality. Those are really good quality. I'm hoping. All right, guys. We'll continue. Okay. Stayed on the boat overnight, and I did some work on installing the speakers, but the speakers are bigger, so I had to do MacGyvers to make the hole bigger, and it's a mess. So the engine, I had a mechanic, I had a shop send a mechanic, and the mechanic found out that the engine was making this weird noise. Turns out that the alternator was almost frozen, and he had to get a screwdriver and put it in the blades and crank it, you know, but it was squeaking and making metallic noises. We thought it was coming from the engine, because from up there I'm not getting a lot of feedback. I just hear noise. So we found out that was it. So I had my friend come in the morning early and took it out, disconnected it, and took it to a shop in Long Beach. Very good little shop. It's called Wayne Auto Electric, I think, and bought a new one. They rebuilt them too, but I said no, let me have a new one. So I bought a new one, 65 amps. I wanted to go to the next They have a 65, and then they have a 75, or no, 105. But that 105 was almost $400, and I said, no, no, no. Let me have the 65. It cost me $250, $260. So I have it here. My friend's gonna show later to connect it again. And the mechanic tried to start the engine, and almost did, but there was an issue with the carburetor again. And the issue was that there wasn't enough fuel going into the carburetor. The fuel has, even though the fuel is new, but it's the tank is probably the problem, because it has this ashy, real fine dirt, dust in the tank, and it plugged up the glass and also plugged up the carburetor. So I took the carburetor out, I cleaned it with carb cleaner, I every hole I could find, and disconnected the little wiggly tubing from the top and poured in there. That goes into your basin, into your reservoir where the float is, and make sure the float is not stuck. So I sprayed it, shook it, turned it upside down, let it drain, did that 3 times, cleaned it, and then I cleaned the injectors from the outside. I blew through the pipe. I can hear blowing out, so there is flow. So I just finished installing the carburetor, and I'm hoping for the best. Now, to get the engine running, I don't want any more problems with the gas. So what I did is I brought a 5-gallon can of fuel, new gas, and we're gonna connect directly from the carburetor, from the fuel pump, to that tank, and let that new fuel be brought up to the carburetor, and I see we can get the engine running. Because yesterday it almost, but it kept backfiring and backfiring. And the guy told me, you have a fuel issue here. There's something going on. And I said, well, the carburetors we built, you know, it's only been there 3-4 months. So he says, well, the filter is pretty dirty. And then I took it out, cleaned it, and it was this guck. This, and then you couldn't even hardly blow through it. So that's the reason the carburetor wasn't getting enough fuel, because the fuel is dirty. So I just put 10 new gallons in there, but the tubing is picking it up from the bottom. So there's some crap sitting on the bottom. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna see if I can run a narrow line attached to a hanger. And I gotta go and get that. I got the line at home, and I got the hanger at home. And I'm gonna disconnect the elbow from the tank and tape it, or get one of those little twist things, you know, and run it down, so I make sure it's down into the little cup where the fuel drops in, where the tubing picks it up, and that cup is full of that crap. I need to clean that out and pump it out. So when I come back, that's the next thing I'm gonna do. So today, the mechanic is gonna return around 5:30, because he works at a yard, and he says, no, I'll come back when I finish working. I'll come back. So I already called him and told him we got the new alternator, we got the carburetor clean. He says, okay, I'll come by and let's do it. Let's try it again, because he was in here for about an hour, couldn't get it going. Check the firing order, all the cables are correct. Took out the alternator, took out the distributor, and looked down, make sure that the oil pump is in the right position. So readjusted it, dropped down the distributor into it, so it'll pump, tying it down, double check the wiring, and everything is good to go. Now, there's one thing that is confusing to me. I know a little bit about the engines, but this is confusing to me. Okay, the engine order, if somebody knows about this, please give me a comment. Okay, come on, start flipping. Jesus Christ, what else? Okay, the right rotation, the right side rotation on the other engine it's 127,56348. Now on the other engine, the one I'm working on is left turning rotation, and that one is 18436572. Now, if that's the case, there is a different order in the rotation because it spins to the left. The order that we put it down, it's the 1-7 instead of the 1-8, and like the right side rotation. And the engine almost started. It was just the issue with the fuel. So I don't understand that. The distributor rotates to the right also. I know that it's connected to the cam. The cam is the one that rotates to the left because the water pump in the front rotates to the left. So it's a left turning engine. So we're gonna try it tonight. If it doesn't run, then we're gonna have to start moving those cables in a different order, because that will be the only issue then, because the fuel's gonna be good, carburetor's fine, filter's clean, everything's fine. So we'll see. All right, guys, just giving you an update, and I'm gonna get back to those speakers. It's a little hot. I should take a break, but anyways. Wow, it's hot in here. Okay, back of the boat, and the mechanic got back the second day, and he started trying to get the engine running, and the engine wouldn't run. And I said, you know, let me ask you something, because I was confused about this, and I mentioned it in the video a little while ago, and I said, if this is a left turning engine, why is the firing order the same as the right turning engine? Because I mentioned this to him last time he came, the day before, and he said, well, I'm looking at the block, and the blocks gave me the numbers, and I said, yeah, but they're both the same block from the same year, and yeah, they're going to have the same stamp number, you know. And I said, we have different rotation numbers for the left turning engine. So he said, oh, let me have them. So I gave him the numbers. He started moving cables around, and we tried to start the engine, and the engine actually started. And I had a feeling it had to do with the wiring. The cables were on the wrong spot. It doesn't make any sense. Right turning engine has a number, left turning engine has a different number. So anyways, the engine started, but it kept dying out. Now the issue wasn't the timing, even though we still had to wiggle it a little bit and tweak it. The thing was the carburetor again. Carburetor, for some reason, it's overflowing, flooding, and the fuel just goes straight down. So one issue could be that there's dirt in the fuel. I brought my gas stopper pump, and I'm gonna filter. I did a MacGyver. Yeah, let me show you. I did this MacGyver on the pump. It's already connected and everything. That I'm gonna run this down into the tank, guided by this hanger wire, and then I'm going to pump the gas, and I'm going to pump it out into the rear tank or another container. Man, it's hot over here. It was 100 degrees in my house, and here it's about 80 something. So I brought another carburetor that it's an Edelbrock, and I've had that carburetor on my Chevy engine in the Blazer. Last time I had it installed, it ran. So I want to try it and see if I can get the engine running, because I am not taking the carburetor back to the shop for the third time. It's $200 every time I do. just because the seat it's getting stuck because a little dust got in there. So I decided I'm gonna take it apart myself, and I'm gonna buy the kit. Kit costs about 45 bucks, something like that. And I'm gonna open up the main cap and look in there, see if there's any crud or anything, clean it. And the kit comes with new needles and new not needle, comes with this the seat, they call it, the float, and the gaskets and the springs and stuff like that. I'm gonna see if I can do it myself. I made a mistake on swapping my original carburetor for this one with this company over here in Newport. I don't know if I should go back, but they're gonna give me the same crap they did before. I don't want to deal with those people. Jet carburetors, they're called. So he said, oh, instead of rebuilding this one, why don't you take this one? It's the same thing. Well, apparently that carburetor was crap because it kept giving me problems ever since I've had it. And it's going on 3 years now, and it's one trouble after another. It keeps flooding, it keeps flooding, it keeps flooding. I keep blaming the fuel. My friend keeps blaming the fuel. Oh, the fuel is crappy, you need to buy new fuel. I said, dude, the fuel is new. There might be a little crap on the bottom. I'm gonna suck that out clean. But also there's another issue that I haven't looked into it, and I brought a test gauge for it, which is testing the fuel pump pressure. Maybe it's putting out too much pressure and it's pushing the inner works of the carburetor, doesn't let it sit, and too much pressure and it's flooding the carburetor. That could be an issue. That could be an issue. I don't think it is, but it could be an issue. So I'm gonna test it and see what kind of pressure I have there, and then I can make a determination. So there is a valve that you can buy for 20 bucks, 21 bucks. It's like a dial, and you can dial it. It says 4 or 5, and it gives you the poundage all the way out to 7, I think. And you can clock it down if it's pumping too much, because some pumps supposed to be maximum 7, they're pumping 10 to 11. That's too much for that type of carburetor. If it's a fuel injection system, yeah, you need more power, more PSI. But I'm gonna check into that also. But right now, I'm just gonna set up the pump and let it run. I'm gonna pump all the gas into the rear tank, which is empty, and pump maybe 5 gallons in there, and then I can pour the rest of the 5 gallons I have here into this tank, connect the line to the carburetor, and see if it runs. All right, guys, later. I'm gonna be busy. Well, here's the setup. I got that in the tank, and I got it in the little pocket. I can sense it. It flows in there, a little pocket. And I turn it on, and fuel is coming up and going around, and immediately it hit this filter, and look at the crap up here. And there's some more crap down here. It's full of it. Look at that. All that crap, all that black stuff in there. So yeah, there was some stuff in the so I don't think I want to pump everything out, because what for? I already got most of the crap. But yeah, there's some big stuff in there. It's like look at that. So I'm gonna run it for maybe a minute, and I don't know why this thing accumulates down here, but I have a solution now. I have a solution that maybe if you have the same problem, you should do the same thing to avoid picking up this crap from the bottom and cleaning out the tank several times. This is, for me, this would be like the 3rd or maybe the 4th. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the length of the pipe, of the tubing here. I'm going to cut 1 inch, maybe 1.25 inches, because nobody drives their boat down to the last drop. That's
You know, it's good to have the capacity, but you're not gonna, you know, pick up every single drop out there. You're always gonna come back with a quarter, maybe less than a quarter, but you don't need to be so close to the bottom that this thing is picking up all this trash that it's in the gas. So immediately when I turned it on, I saw a little black lump come up the line and go into the filter. I'm going, shit, there it is. And I have another filter going on the out, which is clean. That's pretty clean right there. So this is the one that's coming out of the tank, and this is the one going into this tank back here. So I'm gonna pull it out. And now it's already picking up air. And I'm just gonna raise it. Let that gas travel. Look at that. Look at that. And that's it. That is done. And I'm going to cut the pipe and put it back in there. Let me disconnect this from the power so there's no sparks. One of the reasons I have this plug in there, because I can use it without having to go up to the bridge. All right, let me turn this off and put that away later. Okay, so when things get tough, the tough gets going. Simple as that. I already measured and for people that don't know what I'm talking about, I'm trying to alleviate the problem with the garbage in the tank, and I don't know if it's in the gas or it had it already in there, but to me it looked like that green stuff you put on hot dogs. What do you call that? Relish? It looks like that, little chunks. I don't know where that's coming from, but it's kind of gelatin, and I think that's the ethanol in the gas. So to avoid, and to backtrack a little bit, the first time I had a problem with the carburetor, and I said, okay, there's dirt in there, there's junk. I went and took off the sender unit. It's got a big opening like this, and I got a hanger, a long hanger. Well, no, actually, I got this. I got this thing. It's an electrical snake, and I ran it in the tank with cheesecloth. Anything sticks to it. It's very, very clean. And I ran it in there, and I moved it, you know, and I tied it up with some wire, and back and forth and back and forth. And I took out little pieces of cable and wire, red and black. And I'm going, what is this? And this is from the factory. It's stuff in there from the factory. I don't understand it. But anyways, I cleaned it out the best I could. I think I cleaned it up pretty good. But then I kept having the issue of gas going in there with crap in it, and getting that glass filter all blackened and clogged. So I took a good clump of the stuff out of the tank and everything else for a minute or so. I was pumping it, and it was clean. So to avoid any more issues, what I'm doing, and I suggest you do too if you're having the same type of problem, to go ahead and cut 1 inch off your pickup line. This is the pickup tubing, and I already started hacking it. It's 1 inch, and if it's still picking up, take it out again, pick up, cut off another ½ inch. All right, let me set it up here so you can guys watch the hacking process. Like I said, tough has to go. Okay. I had a piece of file. Oh, here we go. Okay, put this away. Now this valve, this here has a valve that it's a non-return fuel. So when the engine is cranking, the pump is pumping out, but does not let the fuel return back into the tank to keep the pressure on the line. So if you blow through here, nothing. You blow through here, you can hear it. There's a little ball, a chrome ball with a little spring. Okay, so this is good to go. I'm gonna go now and install it. Let me take you with me. I'm gonna need my hat because it's freaking bright. And then I'm gonna install the carburetor to the engine. But I just talked to my friend. He says he couldn't make it. He's in Marina del Rey, which is practically on the other side of the downtown LA. So he's not gonna make it today. He's gonna come tomorrow morning. I am staying overnight. All right, let's go. Okay, so let's turn around here. These wires are always getting in the way. Okay. Get the hose. I always like this tool. Never slips off. All right, good to go. That's done. Now the carburetor. This is a 650 carburetor from Elderbrock. And I gotta plug the vacuums here. So I bought this little set. Let's see if this is gonna do it. Okay, so I did the fuel pump test, and it pumped to 5.5, almost 6 pounds. So the pump is working fine. It's not over pumping, which was one of the problems that some of the people were having. And I had to find out, you know, if that was my problem. So now I know it's not. But the problem with the dirt consists. This filter, I cleaned it 2 days ago. Look what's on the bottom there. That is not clean fuel. Look at that gel. It's the ethanol. So I'm gonna clean it again. I don't want to inject that stuff into the new carburetor. The carburetor is there, it fits. It's pretty on there, it's pretty tight, and it looks good. So now the issue with the fuel is what continues and it's driving me crazy. It shouldn't be that dirty. I don't know, maybe, you know, I have a feeling that one of the hoses could be disintegrating and causing this cloudiness in the fuel, because the fuel is brand new. It's brand new. And I'm going to add another, I got 4.5 gallons that I'm going to add to the tank. So that issue with this crappy stuff, it's coming off the bottom, but I already cut the pipe. This was already on the line. So what I could do is kind of, I put my trigger on the starter and I'm cranking the engine. I removed the center plug so it doesn't turn the engine on. But maybe I should crank it and let the fuel flow for a few minutes into this container that I have here, and I pour some of the fuel in there. Yeah, it's got some of that cloudiness. It's not really dirt. I don't know what it is, but it looks like jelly. On this side, it looks very jelly. So I'm gonna take it out and kind of feel it and see what it is. All right, keep you posted later. Okay, took off the glass and you can see the rest of them in there. I'm gonna just bring this out. Look at this. Look at this lump of whatever this is. I don't know. It feels like dry sand. It's weird. It's not, well, it feels like fine dirt. Now that I'm looking at it, it feels like it's fine dirt. And I don't know how that dirt is getting into the tank, through the breathers or whatever, but let's put it back together and then put it back on the hose. But I think I'm gonna crank that. What do I do with the gas though? That's what I don't wanna. Oh, I got a little tank. Where did I put the tank? I have a little tank that I can pour it in there, the back gas, and then maybe filter it or just, you know, I don't want to throw it away. It's good gas. I just put it in there. But the hose has got this stuff. The hose has to be rinsed out. That's the thing. All right, I'm gonna let you go. Get back to work later. Okay. So I removed the filter from the hose and hooked the hose from the pump to the little gas 1 gallon container, little gallon can, and I cranked it with the trigger for, I don't know, 10 seconds. And then I said, okay, well, you know, it rinsed the hoses out. You know, I put the filter back on and then I crank it and here comes more crap into the filter. So I looked into the little tank gas and it's got a lot of stuff for having this much gas on the bottom, not even an inch, and it's got a lot of crap. So I'm thinking that it's the hoses that has some residue. So tomorrow I'm gonna do it again, and I'm done for the day. I think I'm gonna pump the 5 gallon tank into this tank here and empty it, and just leave a little bit of gas in case we needed to put inside the carburetor. So that's it for now. The tube is cut, the gas, it's clean in the tank. I took all the stuff off the bottom that I could pick up. The pump test is good. It was 6 pounds, And when you go fast, no, actually it was 5.5, 5.5. When you go faster, it'll go up to 7, and hopefully it won't go more than that. Carburetor is in good shape. Not trying to start it today. It's going to be tomorrow morning. And the filter is clean, and let's hope. I mean, it's incredible. I cleaned it 2 days ago, and just by cranking it and cranking it, all this gas came up with this little fine dirt. It's like sand, really. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Did somebody sabotage my tank and put sand in there? I don't know. All right, I'll let you go. It's time for dinner, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.